They still don't get it, friends. This is not a game. This is real life. And I know that the folks on the other side of the aisle, the liberals, the leftists, they're still treating this like, oh, well, they didn't campaign properly. They didn't advertise properly. They didn't get out enough ballot harvesters. They didn't communicate and trick enough people. But I think most people in the United States are realizing that this isn't a game. This is directly impacting them, and that's how they voted this time around. They voted for the things that won't destroy their own lives. And these leftists still aren't getting it. Let's talk about it. Welcome to the Poplar Report. I'm Steve Poplar. I'm an accountant by trade. And the mainstream media certainly doesn't get why the Democrats lost so much. It's that the party has been hijacked by these ultra-liberal leftists, and it's not a good look. It's not a good look. The fact is that half the people running for with Donald Trump, including Donald Trump himself, used to be Democrats. That should be telling you something. Elon Musk used to be a Democrat. Tulsi Gabbard used to be a Democrat. I mean, J.D. Vance was a never-Trumper, right? I mean, they keep losing so many people because people get fed up with the BS. They get fed up with what's going on out there. When they see under the hood, they see how the sausage is made over there, they realize that they're in the wrong camp. They're on the wrong side of history. And this is serious. This isn't a game. One of our viewers on this channel shared that their son is in the hospital because of this election. He was a brainwashed, absolutely convinced leftist that when this election happened and Trump won, he committed self-harm. Because he believed that millions of people are going to be going into concentration camps. Just like the leftists told him. Just like The View told him. Just like MSNBC told him. Friends, this election is serious, and their rhetoric is getting people hurt. Physically, I mean, these people out there chanting on the streets, the signs and all the things that they're saying about Trump, and then they're accusing him of being fascist, when they're acting exactly like the fascists acted. It's mind-boggling to us who are awake, but these guys don't get it. The leftists don't get why we've rejected them. I know a bunch of you guys on this channel used to be Democrats or used to vote that way. But now you'd be patently insane to vote that way. I mean, how can you vote for the destruction of our country? How can you vote for more inflation at the grocery store? How can you vote for the corruption, the unfair government agencies who are targeting people of political persuasions, not responding to disasters, even though their whole premise is being a disaster relief government entity, not responding to certain political parties? Absolutely insane. The corruption level. These agencies exist now to gain more power and to protect themselves. And there's really the party of the deep state and the party that's trying to rein in the deep state. I mean, it's not even a choice. When you look at things objectively, even Europeans think that our leftists are absolutely insane. Even though they agree with a lot of the little things, a lot of the issues, they still think that American leftists have gone off the deep end. They've lost it. They've become insane. Europeans would never sign up for the food system that we have in the United States. And yet leftists are all on board with it. They love the GMO. They love the ultra-processed. They love being dominated by corporations who are feeding them slop. Europeans would never go along with that. They think that's crazy. To be dominated by these big tech corporations. Over in Europe, they don't go along for it. Everywhere in Europe, every time you go on a website, you get an option of whether you're going to allow them to give you cookies and track you. It's eye-opening how many websites have trackers and cookies and all that kind of stuff. Whereas in the United States, you don't even get the option. They don't even tell you what they're doing. You have no privacy whatsoever. And these leftists love it. They love it. Then they love silencing their opposition, making it so that nobody can speak except for them. For millions and millions of Americans, this isn't a game. This is real life. And people ended up not voting based on their gender or their skin color. They voted based on what is right, what is true, and what impacts their lives directly. Because to them, it's not a game. The fact that they have to wait 5 or 6 months to get a dentist appointment is a problem for most people. Who's in the White House? Not so much of a problem for most people. That the person in the White House tweets mean tweets, nobody in the United States frickin' cares because they turn on Netflix and listen to the most horrific comedians saying the most vile stuff and watching TV shows promoting all sorts of vile stuff. And then they're supposed to get offended at what the mean guy in the Oval Office tweeted. People care about the fact that grocery prices are exploding upwards. They don't care what's happening in Washington, D.C. They care that there are prescription shortages. They care about that because it's real life. It's not a game. And what I just said about the dentist appointments, take that through to medical appointments in general. The hoops that you have to jump through to get an MRI, to get radiation scanning, to get treatments. This is what people care about. And life is not better now than it was 4 years ago. And people get that. They don't care about the political parties so much as people think. Now, some people, that's all they care about. I get it. And those are the people that to them, vote early and vote often is their MO, right? That's why we don't have IDs and stuff like that in a lot of these places. It's because how can they go in there 15, 20, 30 times if there's any kind of ID? We have massive corruption, not only in the government, but in corporations. We see that the people in charge are often the biggest idiots. Failure gets promoted in big corporations, especially woke corporations, just because of somebody's skin color, just because of somebody's demographics. If they're the right demographics, it doesn't matter what they do, they're going to get promoted. People are fed up with it. We have this economic disaster. You just go to the grocery store and look around, prices are up, and also people can't afford to buy things anymore because their wages are down or they've lost their job. More and more people are dependent upon the federal government for food stamps, for Medicaid, Medicare. The fact is that people can't afford to get treated at a hospital anymore, if they can even get in there in the first place. These are real problems that people are experiencing. And these woke leftists don't get it. I mean, these people like Nancy Pelosi eating their designer ice cream, and AOC out there crying in front of an empty field next to a fence just for a photo op. And they're now instigating the very thing that they sent people to jail for and to solitary confinement for just a few years ago. The hypocrisy of it all lays bare who has been destroying our country. And people are fed up. They're not going to go along with it for another 4 years, and they chose not to. They've sent their bull into the china shop. And over the coming years, we're going to hear a lot of people saying they're going to break stuff. Yeah, friend, that's why we sent them there. We sent them to destroy as much of the system that exists not for the people, but for the oppression of the people, for the skimming off more and more money for themselves and for their friends. It is no wonder that these people go to Congress and get insanely wealthy. The lobbyists slipping them gold bars. Remember that? You didn't hear about that in the media. The Democratic senator that was getting gold bars given to him by lobbyists in order to get him to vote certain ways. Yeah, he got kicked out of the Senate. As a senator. He was literally just lining his pockets with literal gold bars. It's absolutely insane. And yet, very in keeping with Washington, D.C. The only thing he did differently was he was stupid about it and overt about it. If you do it a little more on the down low, like Nancy Pelosi, who has this amazing husband who's so good at stock trading, he's just, he's like a miracle. It's amazing what he can get done. We got a ray of hope. Though the forces of darkness are arrayed against us in Washington, D.C., we have a narrow way through. It's going to be a difficult road. Do we have leaders that have the stomach to really see it through? I don't know. I sure hope that Donald Trump spends the next 2 months in a bunker working on picking the very, very best people to surround himself with. I hope he doesn't go anywhere. I'm a little concerned about him going to go see President Biden in the White House. I'm a little concerned about that because I don't want to see him go anywhere. Nowhere in public, nowhere out there, because there are so many people that are ready to harm themselves, let alone how many of them are ready to harm him. I don't think we've ever had a president of the United States where so many people would be willing to harm him. And the way the Secret Service is now, they act more like Social Security Administration. They can't seem to keep anyone safe. It's scary. I hope he seriously considers his safety. I know he had to do a lot of campaigning, and that was super important for him to do. But now I hope he prioritizes his safety above pretty much anything else right now. Until he gets into office, we can't afford to lose him. And even once he gets in office, he needs to prioritize his safety dramatically. We're worried. We're worried about what these leftists who still haven't understood, and they certainly haven't accepted what has happened. They are capable of, well, thankfully, they're rather incompetent for the most part, but enough of them know how to do enough stuff that it's scary. This isn't a game for the American people. This isn't a game for you and I. We hope for our country to succeed. We want a president that actually cares about the people and actually not just pretends to care, but actually takes action to defend the rights of Americans, to defend their actual livelihoods, and gets the 800-pound gorilla of government off their backs. Allows people like Elon Musk to just launch their rockets. Sure, if you want to make sure that they're not going to drop a rocket on somebody's head, I get that. I get that. But when you start asking them what the chances that a shark's going to be under one of these rockets, or a whale, that's just patently insane. I don't know how much of that is Amazon money from Jeff Bezos trying to sabotage his rival. But the fact that a government agency can be used by one rival to sabotage another just tells you what kind of a government we have these days. And I'm mad. I'm mad. I'm mad out there that the government has done so much evil in the name of caring. But they've really just done it all for themselves and for their benefactors. They've done it for the corporations that they hope to work for next year. And there is no real oversight of food manufacturers, drug manufacturers, drug testing, and you start going down the line, the costs to develop a weapon system in the Department of Defense is insane. And then oftentimes, it doesn't even work. We need oversight, we need accountability, and we need efficiency. With that said, you could lay off 90 to 95% of the federal government, and it would still function, and it would actually function better. That's a surprising thing to say, and yet, how true is it, right? All right, friends, I'm glad that the American people woke up and saw through the lies enough to vote people in. We got a lot to clean up. We need to get actual accountability for counting things in states. We need to get accountability across the board for so many different things. We have so much work to do. And I'm cautiously optimistic that we have people who are going to be down for the fight. And when they get to Washington, D.C., hopefully, they clean house. All right, friends, we'll keep you updated. We'll keep people accountable as best we can from the YouTubes, and make sure that you're aware of things as they get exposed. All right, friends, thanks so much for watching. If you want to check out another video from this channel, there's one right up here. Otherwise, I will see you guys later. Steve Poplar of the Poplar Report out.